On WFLA Now, this is Hey JB. Here's JB Buno.
Cassie needs us, and we will not stop until we bring her home.
The FBI, state investigators, multiple local agencies working around the clock to find missing Florida mother Cassie Carlli, who mysteriously vanished while picking up her daughter on the Florida Panhandle. Now, we're going to be speaking to the community search group, friends, family members about to join us here live on WFLA Now, because what we're doing here, we are asking you folks at home, wherever you're watching from, share to help. There's an urgent search underway to find the woman, 37 years old, who went out on Sunday night to pick up her daughter from her ex in Navarre Beach on the Florida Panhandle when that was the last time anybody saw her. Her father reported her missing. In fact, let's just quickly recap this story for those of you who might be finding out about it for the first time. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. Let's go to the timeline and so we can show this to our audience here. On Sunday, Cassie last seen by her daughter's father, her 4-year-old daughter, who is safe, but we're going to talk more about her 4-year-old daughter here in just a moment. On Monday, Cassie's father reports her missing. On Tuesday, Cassie's vehicle is found, but troubling to the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, again in the Florida Panhandle, they find and locate her purse inside that vehicle. Also pointing out here as well, on Wednesday, according to investigators, the daughter and the father were found in Alabama. Now expanding that search into Alabama are local and state and federal authorities. And on Thursday, the press conference that we carried here live on WFLA Now, the FBI and the state announced to be part of the search efforts. Joining us here now live is the family of Cassie Carlli. Now, they have been searching far and wide, looking everywhere that they can for Cassie, but they're taking some time out of their day to join us here on WFLA Now. Guys, I'll let you introduce yourself to our audience, but thanks for taking the time. And again, we're asking folks to share, to help, because she's still out there, and folks are still, of course, doing everything they can to find her. Can you speak for a moment as to who Cassie is to you after, of course, you all introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Cassie's sister, Rayanne. This is her brother.
I'm her brother, Anthony.
I'm Kirsty Sullivan. I went to high school with Cassie and have been good friends for decades.
And Cassie's best friend of 25 years.
And can you put into words, each one of you, can you put into words what Cassie means to you and the person that she is?
Cassie is just full of life. She is so happy. Anyone that's been around her can just feel her energy is always just full of love and light. And she has touched so many people, not just in our family. I mean, she was the glue in our family that held us together, but in the community. She loved her city of Navarre. She loved the beach. Oh, she loved the outdoors. Taking her daughter to the beach was the highlight of her day. She would go daily if she could. She just so full and excited and hopeful for the future.
A very strong person.
So strong.
Cassie and I went to high school together, and I've seen so many people from high school come out in the last 5 days. It's fueling our fire. Like, we're not stopping until we have Cassie and Sailor home. And I have yet to meet a single person with a bad thing to say about her.
Yes.
I can't think of anybody that doesn't like Cassie or wouldn't want to hang out with Cassie, because she is always cutting up and laughing. Like, when I think of Cassie, the first word that comes to my mind is like joy.
And you can tell with the community rallying behind you and your family and Cassie's family and friends, just the rallying that has gone on, it speaks to how much she is loved in this community. I've been on the phone really around the clock for the last 24 hours, texting, calling, and the amount of love that has been coming through. It's just, we can hear it in your voice. Can you tell us what it was like when you first found out that Cassie could not be located? Now, again, for the audience just joining us, on Sunday night around 7 o'clock, she goes across the causeway in Navarre Beach to pick up her daughter. This was relatively normal, right, you guys? I mean, relatively normal to pick up her daughter on a Sunday night because her daughter was in her father's custody on the weekends. Do I have this correct? And then something went wrong. Can you kind of walk us through exactly what transpired?
It was every other weekend, and it was actually supposed to happen in Destin. It wasn't normal for her to be meeting him there. Sometimes, rare, maybe once or twice a year, she had met him in Navarre recently, because we understand that there's a family that would babysit often for Marcus when he had his daughter 2 days out of 14.
And for those of you, Marcus who was named yesterday in the press conference by the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. Marcus is the 4-year-old daughter of Cassie's father, who is in Birmingham, Alabama. But we'll get into that here in just a few moments. There's a lot to this story. And so what was it like when did you find out, all of you, when did you find out that Cassie had disappeared, and what was that like, and where did your mind go when you originally heard the news that she was missing?
Our father, you know, since she resides with him, he was the first immediate red flag when he 3 hours later and she still was not home, and he contacted me the next morning, still just so worrisome. And of course, I reached out to her friends. She is always in contact with her family and friends. Even during the exchange, she would have texted. So we immediately, our red flag was Marcus, because she has always had some concern for her safety in general. But we know Cassie would have reached out to us if something was not looking right or suspicious.
Yeah, it's not like her at all. It's not like her.
So
we know beyond a shadow of a doubt she would not have left anywhere with Marcus, being in Navarre, her hometown where she grew up, and she could have called hundreds of people within a mile's radius to come and get her. Yes.
And this is
her daughter
has been concerning, is because now we heard yesterday out of the mouth of the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office about her purse being located. But what do we know about her phone? Because normally somebody goes missing, the first thing you do is you call them, you text them. Do you have any idea where
We're not
her phone
sure
is?
What has happened with her phone. We know that it wasn't in the purse. We know that, I mean, we've all been calling and texting it since we realized what was started happening Monday evening. And it's gone straight to voicemail. Her messages, her text messages went from blue to green, which if you know Apple phones, you know that means something changed that shouldn't have changed. We're really confident in the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department. We feel like they're working really hard, and they're protecting whatever information that they may have, because it's in the best interest of finding Cassie right away and prosecuting whoever's responsible for this disappearance.
I have a lot of questions to ask in the next few minutes, because I know you guys have to go resume search efforts. You have places to be, and you're taking time out of your day to join us. And again, the reason that the family is here, folks, and friends of Cassie is here, is for a very specific reason: to get the share count up on social media and to increase exposure. Again, looking for the missing mother out of Navarre Beach, 37-year-old Cassie Carlli. I want to hone in on the phone for just another second, because Cassie's father received text messages from Cassie's phone. I think it was at some point that night, and that was, I think that was a bit alarming to the entire family. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've told me that was alarming to the entire family, correct?
Yes. Yeah. That the text messages my father received from my sister's phone were nothing of typical speak my sister would have said, especially the claims of car and phone troubles at the same time. She would have walked to the nearest gas station if she had to before getting Marcus for any type of help in a situation like that.
Something else I've looked at with these text messages recently is, if you look at the way the punctuation is and the verbiage, he slips up, I believe, in some of these text messages and leaves out words like he typically does in his own text messages. It sounds like him.
And I want to just backtrack for our audience, because I know you guys have been talking about this so much, but what you are saying is that you do not believe that the text messages about the car being broken down, those text messages that went from Cassie's phone to the phone of her father were not sent by Cassie and
We
was
do not.
sent.
Why not?
And you're
We do not believe that those messages were sent by Cassie.
and who do
At
you believe
all.
sent them?
Marcus,
We have
He did.
Marcus.
She's been
the last
telling
person
me,
to see her alive.
she's been telling me for the last 2 years that this dude has been threatening her. He's pulled a gun out. She's worried. She's never wanted me to come around. And she's always said, if something happens to me, it's him. And
Cassie wouldn't leave her daughter. The minute I knew that she didn't have her purse, her phone, her car, or her child, we knew. We know. We're just praying that he makes a good decision and we can find her.
I'm going to throw up some pictures here because our commenters are asking for more pictures of Cassie so that we can spread the word and show this image and get this image out to as many places as possible. You'll also see some videos sent to us by the folks that are joining us via Zoom of the search efforts that are currently underway. Let me ask you this. A lot of questions, of course, being asked about Sailor, the 4-year-old daughter of Cassie and Marcus. And now the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office says that Sailor is safe. But I know, Ray, you and I originally communicated over Facebook because you were saying that she's not with your family. So can you just speak for a moment to Sailor and her safety?
Right. Sailor has been located by law enforcement and is well, but she is not safe until she is back with us, the maternal side of her family. She lives and resides full-time at my father's house with my sister. She is probably scared out of her mind, wondering where her mother is. She is not safe under his care. So we are doing everything we can with paperwork and whatnot to trying to bring Sailor back to us safely. Because until then, we cannot rest either. Until Cassie and Sailor are both back home safe with us.
I was listening very intently to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office in their press conference yesterday, and they stated that the last person to see CASSIE CARLI alive is Marcus. Now, what do you believe transpired in this parking lot when they met? Again, this is supposed to be a relatively routine custody exchange. It's one child going from one parent to the other. They're meeting at this location, which maybe you can describe it better to me. We have some images here that are showing this parking lot that they met by Juana's Pagodas right across the causeway there and how public that was. But what happened in this meeting based on your understanding and what the community search effort has been doing their own investigating on the ground? What happened when Cassie arrives to the parking lot to pick up her daughter from Marcus? What happened there in Navarre Beach?
We still have so many questions too, honestly. The only thing we could possibly think is if he coerced her in some way using Sailor, because there's not much he could have said to convince my sister to get in the vehicle with him, to take a walk with him, any of those possibilities. Like I said, we're still unsure, but we just know that his intentions from the beginning of meeting her in that parking lot were not to gracefully hand Sailor over. Something occurred, whether she said something to upset him or he just had this planned. Honestly, he is that type of person. We have been in fear of this for a long time.
Yes.
So
I mean, we found posts of him talking about trying to figure out how to disable his OnStar in his car,
yes,
how to build a silencer. This was years ago, but I know I've never searched for anything like that. I mean, who does that? What type of person are we dealing with? Cassie would not leave her daughter. She would not leave her daughter with him if she didn't have to, if it wasn't court ordered. She would not have let him drive off with her child under any circumstances unless it was court ordered. And she should have had her daughter and been back at her father's house Sunday evening.
Yeah.
So let's now go into how Alabama is connected to all of this because Alabama is where they found, or again, on Wednesday, going back to the timeline, is where they eventually would find Marcus and Saylor, the 4-year-old daughter, up in Birmingham, Alabama. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office saying that Marcus is up there at a job site on assignment working up there. He's up there for work reasons. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office has said that they have communicated with Marcus. And yesterday at the press conference at the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, they put his picture out there. They don't name him as a suspect. They don't name him even as a person of interest, but they put his picture out there, and I have it from Sergeant Eloy of the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, who I've been in contact with, who says that they put that picture out for a very specific reason. This is the last person to see Cassie alive. What needs to be done now from your family's vantage point to track down where Cassie is located and what happened to her?
We just know we want him to be seen because we know there are also other possible individuals that have spoke with him. If you know anything, say something, please. Any tip is not too big or too small.
He works in Alabama, so we know that's where he is. And we're confident that the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department is following the proper legal avenues to make sure that nothing is slipping through the cracks and that we're going to be able to carry this all the way to prosecution if that's where it comes to. And so we're very confident that they're doing exactly what they need to bring Cassie home to us and to make sure that they don't let whoever's responsible for this get away with this.
This story now starting to reach not just a national audience, but there's even publications around the world that are starting to pick up on Cassie Carli.
That's what we want. We want the world to be looking for Cassie. She would be here if she could be, and she would help every single one of you in this exact situation. We want the world to be talking about her, looking for her, and looking at anybody else that they think could have anything to do with this.
And that's why we've activated Share to Help on the bottom of your screen, sharing this out on Twitter, sharing this out on Facebook. Again, getting these images out there to as many phones and devices and eyeballs as possible in the hopes of finding Cassie Carli. Coming back, before we let you go, we know you have only just a couple of more minutes. I bring up the national and international media attention because of how rapidly this has been evolving over the last several days. I wanted to give your family and Cassie's friends and family, everybody, just the opportunity. Is there anything that is being reported that has been erroneous? Sometimes when you have various agencies reporting on a story and they're not located here in Florida, things can get taken out of context. What do you most want to either correct or the world to know about this story as it continues to unfold?
You know, we're trying not to let the misinformation get out there. And I think I've seen a lot of people who take something from 3 days ago and are applying it today. This is a constantly fluid, changing situation that we as Cassie's friends and family are really just doing the best we can. Luckily, one of Cassie's great friends, Sam Graves, has passed law enforcement. It's amazing the village that Cassie has built, that have come together and are literally just putting all of our heads together and sharing and searching and thinking and praying that she gets to come home.
Yes. And I just want it to be known too that my sister was in the best place. She was so happy and hopeful for the future. And there is no reason to believe she would ever choose to do something like this on her own, ever. And she would never, ever leave her daughter, ever.
The only time Cassie has not had her child during her custody time, which is 85%, is when Marcus has taken her previously against the law, and we've had to get the law involved to get this baby back 2 weeks later. This has progressed. This has been escalated, and we want this to be a lesson for every future Cassie, that this needs to stop, that this is not okay. It's becoming all too often, and we're not having it. We're not having it.
Yeah, she disappears right before he's got to pay.
We will not be quiet. We will not.
Right before he's got to pay
all the attorney's fees,
like
child support,
money too. It's just sad.
What is the plan for today? I know that there have been routine search efforts going on all week, and some of the video that we'll play here, you'll see some of the search efforts. Before we let you go, where is the family? Where are you guys heading? And what is the plan as the search continues for Cassie Carli?
We're going to keep linking up with the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, putting our heads together and searching every tip and lead that comes to us. There's nothing too small or too big that you guys can call Crime Stoppers. It's ** tips, TIPS. You can call the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department, 911. There's nothing too small that can't be shared, because we are going to keep looking until Sailor and Cassie are home.
And is there anything, while I have you guys on the line here, is there anything that I can do? Is there anything that we here can do as far as helping spread the word? I mean, really, it comes down to, I think, the followers here and the viewers watching now, as far as spreading out this story and sharing it on social media. Is there anything that I can do, or anything that you'd like the people, the folks watching now, wherever they're watching from, to do to help out in your search efforts?
We are so grateful right now just for this coverage, but just please keep talking about it. Like JB said, like this, share this, post it, anything you see to keep Cassie's name out there. We want to be as loud as possible. We are working with all kinds of organizations, EquiSearch, all of that. Anyone we can bring in to help with any resources is great. Once again, if you know anything in that area, reach out to us. We are open to any advice, any tips that can help bring her home.
And where should they go if they have information they want to reach out to you? What's the best avenue?
Is it the Crime Stoppers?
Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department. I think we need to go ahead and just keep giving them the direct information, especially if we think it's something linked directly to Marcus or Cassie right now.
Yes.
Crime Stoppers, if you can't get through to them, ** TIPS is a number you can text. It's anonymous. They're offering a reward.
We will have some sites up later today posted. I will make sure I give those to you as well. If anyone wants to donate to the volunteers and the search efforts and whatnot, we will be organizing all of that too today.
We're working on legal fees for Cassie.
And helping bring Sailor
We're
home.
not going to let anything financial slow this down, though.
No.
Well, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to join us. And I think I speak for all of our commenters, and I'm looking at the YouTube comment section and the amount of heart emojis and prayer emojis that I'm seeing, Facebook Live as well. I think I speak for thousands watching right now that are wishing you the very best and are rallying behind finding Cassie and finding her as soon as humanly possible. So thank you to all four of you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
JB.
you.
Thank you, JB. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everybody. All right. Back with you here live on WFLA now as they kind of hop off the Zoom call. We are going to do our very best. What we do here interactively on WFLA now, our streaming platform, is we do our best to get good information out there on the internet. And we want to use our hashtag system to answer some questions. There might be some confusion. And I'll be very frank with you, when this story originally surfaced yesterday, there was a lot of misinformation on the internet, and it took a little bit of time for me to kind of weave my way through the information to get to the heart of it. I'd like to thank some of the folks that came forward on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram that helped me get connected with the family, because then we can talk with them and get the correct information put out to you, our audience. The internet, with stories as they grow, can be littered with landmines of misinformation, and that is dangerous to a story, especially when you're talking about a missing person that, again, we're trying to locate safe and sound, that being Cassie Carli here on the right side of your screen. So we're going to open up the Q&A portion of our segment here on WFLA Now, and you can use, for those of you who have been with us here before, you know how this works. For newcomers, I will explain it. You can use hashtag HeyJB if you would like for your comment to be featured on screen. If you have a question, if you just want to voice support for the family, if you want to say that you've shared it across every platform, if you use that hashtag, and sometimes we have other hashtags, but for this stream, it's hashtag HeyJB, we will feature your comment. If you don't want your name and your picture on a news live stream like this with a pretty large audience watching, just don't use that hashtag, and we'll be very respectful to that and let your comment continuously scroll on by. There has been a growing call to put this out. And I know that this is what people want to see. Oh, that's way too many me. Let's get rid of that and put up this picture. That's correct. Marcus Spanavello is the name of the person that the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office put out yesterday. And this was very unique, and I'm going to explain why it was unique, because of the optics of this image. What does this look like to you, wherever you're watching from? You have a sheriff here in Florida standing next to an image and a name on a screen next to him as a prop. Normally, when you see this type of image, you're looking at the announcement of an arrest being made, or the announcement of a manhunt that has been started, or the announcement of a suspect being named, or even a person of interest. They put up this image yesterday and just said this is the last person to see Cassie Carli alive, and we're asking for anybody who might have seen this man with Cassie on Sunday or later to contact Crime Stoppers. And I'll put that number, or I'll read that number for you, 850-983-1190. So this was a bit unorthodox just because he hasn't been officially established as a suspect. They have communicated with him. He's up in Birmingham, Alabama, as we understand it. And it's not a manhunt. It's not this frantic search to track down Marcus Spanavello. They know where he is up in Birmingham, the same city where the 4-year-old daughter, Sailor, is said to be located. And so this was a bit unorthodox of a presentation, if you will, but it stands regardless as the way that the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office put it, in that they are looking for this person. So let's see what I'd like to do. I'm going to do a little bit of editing on the fly. Everyone kind of just bear with me here. What we're going to do is we're going to try to put that image on screen, if we can, and a little bit higher res. So let me get just a bit of a, you know what, we're just going to expand it as best we can here. That way everybody can just get a look at it, because this is straight from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. So we'll take this and we're going to expand that. And this is what they had up at the press conference yesterday. Again, not to locate Marcus Spanavello, but to ask anybody on the Panhandle, anybody really in the southeastern United States who might have seen this individual with Cassie Carli, to contact law enforcement if you saw the two of them together past Sunday at 7 o'clock. But as a journalist now, I have to be very, very open and direct when I say to you, the individual on the right side of your screen has not been charged with a crime and is not publicly suspected of a crime. This isn't, as we understand it right now, this is just the father, and we can just say this is the father of Sailor, Cassie's 4-year-old daughter, who, again, Cassie, on the way to pick up her daughter on Sunday night, did make it there to the location at Navarre Beach where Marcus was located, and then something transpired where she vanished and he didn't. Now he's located in Birmingham, Alabama. She's missing. 4-year-old daughter Sailor said to be safe and in Birmingham, in Alabama, though you hear there from the family of Cassie Carli, they want the 4-year-old daughter Sailor back with them, where they believe that she is most safe. That's according to them. And there's, again, we have not heard from Marcus Spanavello. We do know that the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office has reached out and established contact with him. They have not interviewed the 4-year-old daughter. That was one of the biggest questions I got overnight. I was answering questions on my Facebook and Instagram about this really into the night, and people were asking, if something did happen between mother and daughter, and the 4-year-old is present, has the 4-year-old been interviewed by authorities? And the answer to that is no. Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office says that they have not yet, as of yesterday afternoon, not spoken with the 4-year-old daughter of Cassie Carli. So For all of you in the Facebook Live comment section asking repeatedly for this image to be put out, I am putting this out with specific context that he is not charged with a crime. He has not been labeled as a suspect. He is being put out there on public display for the reason of, if you have seen him on Sunday at 7 o'clock or later, between Sunday at 7 o'clock or later, they want information. They want you to call Crime Stoppers and help them piece together a timeline as to what happened in the aftermath of Cassie Carli's disappearance. So hopefully we get that out and we articulate that as appropriately as possible. All right, folks. All right, and we're going to start to take some comments. Facebook Live, I see that a lot have come in. Let's kind of launch our comment system here and get to some of the ones that are coming in. I see Teresa, Tiffany, Tracy, Nina, Susan joining us on Facebook and on YouTube. We've got Jen, Brian, Olivia, Scorpio, Robert. Got a lot of folks joining us on YouTube as well. So Joyce, Brown, Long, if they do have, here, let's get this image loaded up on screen. Again, hashtag HJB if you'd like for your comment to be featured. My guess is that if there were any cameras in the parking lot, the authorities have them and maybe keeping it quiet. The question of whether or not there is video evidence of this exchange that was supposed to happen at that parking lot at Juana's Pagodas across the Navarre Beach Causeway there in Santa Rosa County. If there was any footage, yes, you would imagine that by now the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office has it, but that's not something that they are going to put out because it's part of an active investigation. So this is a bit of a grim question, but I'm gonna bring it up on screen because the answer is yes. And Richard, I'm gonna get to your comment as well, but let's bring up Candy's. Candy saying hashtag HJB. Have they searched the water in the area she was last seen? Yes, they have been. I spoke to Sam Graves, who has been one of the leaders of the community search effort. And when I talked to her on the phone yesterday, she was still soaking wet, she said that she was still soaking wet because she was wading through water looking for any signs of Cassie. Even it could be a wristwatch or a piece of jewelry, anything, even a footprint, something that gives them a clue as to where Cassie might be, whether it's in the water, whether it's on the side of the road. And again, this is now a multi-state effort, and the entire manpower of the Major Crimes Unit of the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office has been committed to this. The FBI is involved. State investigators, as we understand it, in Alabama and Florida are involved. This is a multi-state, multi-agency search that has been launched for Cassie Carli, and they are working around the clock to find out what happened to her on Sunday night. Richard saying, hashtag HJB, did they question Marcus in Alabama? The answer to this is yes. That the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office had detectives make the drive up from Navarre Beach to Birmingham. I want to say that's about 5 hours. I used to live in Mobile. So let's kind of just do that here in Google Maps. I'm going to guess 5 hours. We'll see how good my geography is. But the detectives with the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office did make the drive, and they were the ones to initiate contact with Marcus in Birmingham, Alabama, as we understand it. And Marcus, again, not a suspect. He is not wanted. He is named in this because anybody who might have seen him with Cassie Carli might have pertinent information to her whereabouts, her safety. So that's the reason that we have that name so very much present in media coverage, and why you saw it earlier on our live stream. So Birmingham, directions to Birmingham from Navarre Beach, Pensacola Beach is, maybe I was wrong. It might be less than 5 hours. Oh no, I don't want to drive. 4 hours and 11 minutes with usual traffic. So 4 hours to make that drive up, passing through Montgomery, Alabama. Let's get to some other questions and comments. And I see somebody that just came in and said, "Wait, I'm confused." That's why I'm here. So if you're confused, I'm here to answer questions about this story and get good information out there. So if you have any questions. Oh, this is Cindy. This is an excellent question. I woke up this morning thinking about this. Cindy Colson, hashtag HeyJB, do you know if they use any drones to check out that area? I'm thinking about drones. I'm thinking about helicopters. I have not heard if this search has expanded to the air yet. That can be very useful in covering terrain that's difficult to navigate on foot, like a beach area, and getting into, the water's pretty shallow there in Navarre Beach, depending on how far you go, but a drone or a helicopter would be useful in this case. I have not yet heard if this search is expanded to the air, but we've got some folks joining us from Navarre Beach in the comments section. So if you're joining us from Santa Rosa County, southern Santa Rosa County, and you're joining us from the Navarre Beach area, have you seen choppers go up in a circular formation? Have you seen drones flying in the air? If you've passed by the Causeway area, let me know. I'd be very curious to know. Oh, this is an excellent question. But this is very much that falls under the umbrella of the active investigation, Stacy. Stacy Brown asking hashtag HeyJB, are there any tolls that he would have to pass through to see, to look inside the car to see who was in it? And this is a great question, because just about every toll location on our roads has cameras and takes, we'll snap pictures, sometimes video, depending on, and some are high res, some are low res, depends on the infrastructure, but we'll take pictures of a car as it passes through the toll system. And you can sometimes, depending on how sophisticated the camera equipment is, you can get a pretty good look as to who is inside that vehicle. This, with the FBI involved, this very much falls under the purview of what they might have resource-wise as they gather evidence on this case. Listen, if Marcus is the last person to have seen her alive, his whereabouts and his travels in the aftermath of Sunday at 7 o'clock, even before Sunday at 7 o'clock, really just him over the last week is a very, very important piece of the investigation. So I don't know if there's any tolls. Does Google Maps give me an idea? I don't think so, because I think that you hop on, I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Yeah, you're hopping on I-10 East for a little bit, and then you're popping on I-65 north through Montgomery, and the interstate's not going to have any tolls. So I don't see any tolls on this route. But with the listen, there might be other cameras along that route and other routes and in other areas. Cameras are just about everywhere these days. The more rural you get, the fewer cameras exist. However, if they are looking for video evidence to find out where he traveled, I would imagine that with the FBI, 2 states, and multiple local law enforcement agencies collaborating, they're going to be able to find that relatively quickly. But Stacey, that's a really good question, and this is why I really do enjoy being on live stream with you, because our audience, because you can really ask very, very pertinent questions. Yeah, I just want to bring this up for a second. You heard it there from, and I want to just, for a second. We heard this from the family and saying that this is happening too often in this country, and Brian Brown saying hashtag HeyJB, these are sad, sad times we are living in. Yeah, it's we're just too many people in this country are going missing. Different ages, different sections of the country. Kidnappings are occurring. People are just vanishing out of thin air, and it's a problem that I think now too is getting a lot of attention because of social media and the immediacy of getting the word out when somebody does disappear. This is a problem. I've had conversations with some great groups on Twitter and on Reddit and on YouTube. This is a problem that is happening in this country that is kind of under the microscope through social media, because so many cases, law enforcement agencies across the country are inundated with missing persons cases. And it's because you have to sort through the ones that are, how many times have there been missing persons reports, and soon thereafter that person is found. It's can be difficult for local law enforcement agencies to identify missing persons cases that require a sizable amount of resources and a sizable amount of manpower. It depends on the state, depends on the jurisdiction. However, this is happening across the country. Local law enforcement agencies trying to keep up with all the missing persons cases that they are getting in. Some areas worse than others. We've had a bunch here in Florida. We're still covering here in Florida the story and the tragic death of Tanisha Griffith. A mother who was found dead on the side of the road in Pasco County. There's just too many stories like this that are occurring, and I can just speak for myself for a moment, and I want there to be more happy endings to these stories than horrific, tragic ones. And again, share to help on the bottom of your screen. It's more than just a call to hit a button. It's a call for there to be, for not just you to hit a button, but then your friends and family to hit a button to get this story exposed to as many people as possible, as fast as possible. Kim, I'm going to take your question. Becca, I'm going to take your question as well. I will also get to this question too. I will go over the timeline again for Jennifer. Let's start kind of going through a lot of these because there's just a wild amount of #HJB comments in our comment section. We got to get going at about 1:30, so I got about 15 minutes to continue talking with you folks. Becca, #HJB, do you know what kind of work Marcus does? I've heard a little bit about his profession, his career. I'm not confident enough in that information to share it because I'm just not certain. I've heard that he works in this field, and I just can't say with certainty that is. That would be irresponsible for me to say what he does for a living without knowing with 100% certainty what he knows for a living, or what he does for a living, excuse me. Yeah, Kim, #JB, hey, do they know if the baby is safe? Was she seen by officers? Becky, #HJB, have they laid eyes on the baby to know for sure that she is with him for sure? Now, what I have heard through my reporting is that she is not with Marcus, but Alabama Child Services has apparently made contact with the child. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office makes it very, very clear that the child is safe. Cassie Carli's 4-year-old daughter, who again was supposed to be at the center of this custody exchange, passing from one parent to the other in Navarre Beach on Sunday night, that child, the 4-year-old, is safe, and there has been contact established by Alabama Child Services. But her exact whereabouts, I was not told, and there could be several different reasons for that, but they assure us that she is safe. I have heard from the family, I think the family might have mentioned it, Linda Brady saying, can you please confirm that Marcus was driving a truck with a long trailer attached? The color of the truck and trailer, if he indeed had Cassie and took to Dessa. I do not have the color, but I have heard that it was very, very normal for there to be this exchange. The family has told me that it was very, very normal for Marcus to drive a truck with a very long trailer attached to it. And this is helpful from a law enforcement standpoint because it's an identifying characteristic. We were talking on stream yesterday that when you're tracking down a vehicle like a white Ford Focus or a silver Nissan Altima or a super common car in this country, that's just really unfortunate for investigators because they want there to be some identifiable characteristic. As we understand it, the family, according to the family of Cassie Carli, it was very normal for Marcus to make these custody exchanges, and it's normal for his travel with a truck and a trailer. I don't have the color, I don't have the make of that vehicle, but I can tell you that the family has told me that several times. Jennifer Cashman, #KJB, can you do a quick overview of the timeline, please? I don't understand why we are talking about Florida and Birmingham. I'd be happy to. And I'll try to go through it for as quickly as possible for our audience joining us here. So let's go to the timeline and let's bring it up. So here is the Cassie Carli timeline. Sunday, Cassie Carli leaves from her home, drives just down the road. She didn't go very far to pick up her daughter from her daughter's father, Marcus, at the parking lot in Navarre Beach at Juana's Pagodas, at that parking lot. Now, I've been told that the parking lot isn't like directly near it. It's kind of in the vicinity of it, but it's not directly located on top of the restaurant. That was when the two Cassie and Marcus did establish contact with each other, but what happened thereafter remains unknown. Monday, Cassie's father, who received text messages, odd text messages that didn't really fit Cassie's style, text messages that to him were alarming enough that he told other family and friends and investigators about it. He receives these text messages, says no, gets a funny feeling something's not right, and then reports her missing on Monday, and the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office gets put on the case. Tuesday, Cassie's vehicle and purse are found in the area of the causeway, not too far away from the area where they were going to be meeting, and her purse is located in the vehicle. You just heard the family say the phone wasn't in the purse, but the purse was in the vehicle. Hopefully that makes sense. On Wednesday, we have the daughter and Marcus, the father, found in Birmingham, Alabama. Girl is said to be safe, and he's said to be up there on a work site doing work. So that's a Birmingham connection, is that he was up there apparently on assignment on a work site doing his job. And then on Thursday, yesterday, the press conference where the FBI and the state the FBI and the state are announced to be part of the search efforts, and that the entirety of the major crimes unit at the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, they are now on the case. I want to do two things. I'd like to spotlight some of the work by my colleague in Mobile, Alabama, and also reporting on the Panhandle, Cody Long from our sister station WKRG. He had this report filed. He did this report last night for our sister station in the Mobile, Pensacola area, and we'll be back in 90 seconds. This is again WKRG News 5's Cody Long.
Cassie Carli's family and friends ended a long day of searching with a prayer.
Draw us to her right now, Father God. God, I pray, God, that you put a spirit of fight in her, Father God, that she has never known.
Cassie's SUV was found Tuesday morning near the water tower at Navarre Beach. Her family says she met her child's father in the parking lot Sunday night at 7 for a custody exchange, and they've not heard from her or her daughter since then.
Cassie needs us, and we will not stop until we bring her home.
They think she's in danger, and she could be anywhere from Alabama to Panama City. They searched all across the beach, thanks to people who showed up and volunteered.
We have drones in the air, we have jet skis and boats in the water. We have approximately 30 to 40 people on foot walking every square inch of this sand.
They will move over to Destin to continue searching when the sun comes up Wednesday. Cody Long, WKRG News 5.
Now back here with you live on WFLA Now. We'll take a few more minutes to answer some questions, and then what we're going to do is we're going to play back the press conference yesterday, too. I think that there's enough people interested in the story that want to hear directly from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office their assessment with where they were as of yesterday, that being Thursday, March 31st. Happy April to everybody joining us here, as well as it is now April 1st, 2022. So let's continue. Let's go over to YouTube. Hello to YouTube. Scooter Wisdom, hashtag HAB. Did the father and daughter ever make the drive down to meet her at all? So the father and the daughter did not come from Birmingham. So I think that's what you might mean, Scooter, by driving down. He resides in the Panama City Beach area, as we understand it, and he was coming west across the Panhandle, making the drive. And you heard there, too, from the family and closest friends of Cassie Carli saying that it was a little bit out of the ordinary for them to meet in Navarre, that they were usually meeting a little bit more east of Navarre, kind of the middle point, but that he had made the gesture to want to meet in Navarre that night and come a little bit farther to make it I guess, or as we don't know the exact reason why, but what it might have been for Cassie is a little bit of a shorter drive rather than meeting in the exact halfway point, which might have been more than a half an hour to an hour of a haul. So so he made the drive from the Panama City Beach area all the way west towards Navarre and met her in Navarre, where she resides. I do have that one photo. She Loves Shoes. That's a great YouTube name. Saying hashtag HJB, can we see more pictures of Sailor in case someone saw her with her father in the aftermath of whatever happened? I have the one. And let me see if we can bring up this one photo. And there it is. So that is Cassie and her 4-year-old daughter, as aired on our sister station WKRG News 5 in Mobile, Alabama. And I'll just share with you, I'll share with our audience here that I always try to ask and go through the proper checks as a newscaster. What I try to do is try to, putting kids on the news is something that, again, that this is, kids shouldn't ever have to deal with the evils of the world, right? And when you have a 4-year-old that is completely, just completely innocent and something terrible has happened in this ordeal, I'm very sensitive to that. And so when it comes to images of children, that's something that is very, I don't know what the right words are, but I don't put pictures of, these pictures don't get aired lightly, is what I'm trying to say. But our commenters are asking for more pictures because they want there to be as much, much resources out there as possible that maybe somebody saw this little 4-year-old girl in the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, sort of Wednesday time frame, and might be able to help break the case. So you weigh the pros and cons when it comes to kids being part of news stories, because it's one thing if they're at the strawberry festival, and they're adorably eating some strawberry shortcake. That's one thing to see them on the news doing that, but connected to the story of a disappearance of a Florida mother like this, it's just different. And I hope people understand that, and I hope people understand that this little girl, we're just hoping the best for this little girl and the entirety of the family. Hopefully that gets articulated as clearly as I could possibly explain it to people. Let's see here. Lori Riley, hashtag HAB, does his vehicle have built-in GPS? I highly doubt it, but maybe I don't. Like OnStar, right? I think is what you're saying. I was thinking of like a locator of some kind. But yeah, if it's built into the vehicle, but you have to. I mean, as I understand it, to be able to access that style of information, there needs to be. It needs to rise to that standard for them to obtain that information. And let's again repeat this. It's journalistic integrity. It's important for me to repeat as much as possible. Marcus has not been charged with a crime. He is not publicly, according to the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office in their last press conference yesterday, March 31st, he has not been publicly identified as a suspect. Listen, they could be treating him as a suspect behind closed doors, but we are not privy to that information. So it's really important for us to put that out there, repeat that as much as possible. His image, his name is getting out there on the internet and on full blast, and there's no evidence at this time that we are aware of, and there's no information that has been put out to suggest that he is responsible for any crime connected to Cassie Carli's disappearance. That could be changing soon. It could never change. We just don't know. And I've covered enough news stories to know that people think that somebody is going to get charged with a crime. They think, oh, it's going to happen. It's an inevitability. Whether it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And then years will pass and they're never charged with a crime. And so it's very, very important for us to point that out repeatedly. He is not charged with a crime. He is not a suspect at least publicly, as identified by the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. Robert's asking, hashtag HeyJB, will you be doing live updates daily like with the Gabby case? I'm staying on this story, and just the amount of people that have reached out to me, and the amount of people that are, demanding answers, just the amount of people that have come forward and messaged me on social media, and so we are going to do our part in covering this story, but let me make this clear. I cover Florida news primarily. Primarily my job is to cover Florida news, and even more primarily than that is to cover news in the Tampa Bay area. So this is out of Northwest Florida. This is out of our WFLA's coverage area, but we still cover Florida news on WFLA. WFLA is among Florida's news leaders online, so it's very important for us to stay on the stories that matter to Floridians. And this story, far and wide, from as far west as Pensacola to as far south as Miami to the Keys, we have seen people gravitate towards this story, and we're going to try to stay on it. And if we can do our part to help out and be part of the solution rather than part of the problem, we're going to do our best. We're going to do our best. Forest States on YouTube saying dash cams are also very relevant evidence. Anything with a camera lens is relevant evidence in a story like this. Cynthia Nicole, hashtag HJB, I know that they keep saying that the little girl was safe, but can we confirm that she is not with the father? I know the father is not a suspect, but neither was Brian Laundrie at first. Cynthia, I can say that I've been told that the little girl, there was contact made by Alabama Child Services, and that she is not suspected to be with the father directly at this time, that she is technically still under the father's custodial rights, that he is her parent, so her safety still falls under his purview. But of course, with the investigation being as active as it is, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what that relationship is like right now. I've been told that Marcus was up there with her daughter, and then Alabama Child Services came in, established some form of contact, and that now that the two, I had heard yesterday that the two were not together. Now, I don't know what has transpired. This is a very fluid situation. We're covering this live. You're watching me right now. If it's live, if it's 1:31 Eastern time on April Fool's Day, I'm here with you live right now, and I'm telling you that this could have changed in the last couple of hours, the last few minutes since we began this live stream. The last that I had heard was that Marcus was not with his daughter. Alabama Child Services was part of the equation in some respect, and that the girl is safe. First and foremost, and most importantly, that she is safe. A couple more questions and comments before we play back the press conference. I want to make sure I have that queued up here as well. Yeah, I do. All right, looking for some other comments. Let's get to Alicia's comment. Hashtag HeyJB, can you please clarify if the mom was dropping the child off and that exchange happened, or she was picking up the child from the dad and never showed? Neither of these are true. So I don't know if it's Alicia or Alicia. She went to pick up her child on Sunday night around 7 o'clock, which is right around sunset, right as it was getting dark, and at that parking lot right across the causeway in Navarre Beach. And she did, as we understand it, according to authorities, the last person to see her alive was Marcus, that there was, that the two did meet. But what happened during this meeting, again, it was supposed to be him bringing her, the 4-year-old daughter. So from father to mother. Because every other weekend, as we now know from the family, every other weekend, Marcus had the rights for his daughter. So they established contact, and they are there together, but then what happens in the aftermath is unknown. And I know that there have been different theories put out on social media. We have learned so much in reporting in modern times on social media to let you know that with stories as they develop and as they rapidly take shape, that you really got to question what you read on social media. Where are you getting that information? And where is that information coming from? And so that's part of why we do this at WFLA Now, is to help you decipher through fact versus fiction. And as we say, we're going to say rooted in reality. And that is our commitment to you with every story that we cover, not just, I know so many folks still with Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, I know that still people gravitate towards that as a comparison, but this is a different story, different section of Florida, and different circumstances. And let's make it clear, Cassie Carli is missing. She is not suspected deceased. She is not suspected. She is missing at this time. And that's what we're going with. And we're, again, going to remain as hopeful as possible that she is found safe and soon. Safe and soon. Looking for some final ones before. I covered this one earlier, but this is the number one question I get. I'm serious, of all the questions that people have been messaging me on Facebook and Instagram, this is the one I get the most, and it comes from Ivelisse Torres, #KJB. Has the child been questioned? We were told yesterday specifically, no, the 4-year-old girl has not been questioned. And what she knows, I mean, she's 4. Think of a 4-year-old, or to all the moms and dads, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles out there. Think of when your niece, nephew, or grandson, granddaughter, or son or daughter. Think about when they were 4 and how small they were. Now they are. Of course you're able to talk with them, but I guess we don't know what has transpired, and we don't know if something happened to where the 4-year-old girl saw something or witnessed something, or what her last experience was seeing her mother. We just don't know what has transpired here with the 4-year-old daughter. So I can just tell you that the daughter has not been questioned, and if that changes, we'll of course let you know. But right now, as of the Thursday press conference, the answer to that is no. Okay, we're going to play back to that press conference so you can hear for yourself, and then we'll come back for some final thoughts here on WFLA Now. This is, again, the Thursday, March 31st press conference by the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming. We're going to talk about a missing persons case today. A Navarre woman, Cassie Carli, 37 years of age, was last seen Sunday the 27th behind Juana's Pagoda in the parking lot. She was there to meet Marcus Spanavello, who I think also has his photograph as well. They have a child in common, a 3-year-old girl. They were met there to do a child exchange. That was the last time that we know of that Cassie was seen. The next day, Monday the 28th, about midday, we received a call from Cassie's father reporting her missing. The next day, Tuesday the 29th, we find Cassie's car behind Juana's Pagoda. And what we found concerning was, inside that car was Cassie's purse. And as you know, most women don't leave their purse behind when they go somewhere. So that caused us a little concern. Then, Wednesday the 30th, we located Marcus in Birmingham, Alabama. 3 detectives from Santa Rosa County drove up there to interview him. They made contact with him and also with Sailor, the daughter, and they called out Alabama Child Services, who checked over the girl, and that was that for that part. So they interviewed him and came back here. Right now, we're currently in several different, I guess you could say, phases of this investigation, but we would like to thank Okaloosa, Walton, and Bay SO for their assistance, as well as FDLE and the FBI. Currently, like I said, it's an ongoing investigations. I don't know how many questions I can answer, but feel free to ask me what you want to. So, yes, ma'am.
Are there any specific spots that you are searching right now, or any specific efforts that you can share with us?
Not at this time. I can say the search is ongoing, but I can't tell you any certain locations.
Can you confirm whether the search is beyond Santa Rosa County?
Yes. Yes.
Can you give us any information about why some of the people involved in the search went to Freeport yesterday?
I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't send them there.
No, it was the community-led search.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
We've talked to friends and family who all point their fingers toward Marcus when it comes to information that could lead to finding Cassie, and they believe he may know something about her disappearance. Do you feel like that's a fair statement?
Well, I can say it's an ongoing investigation, and he was the last one to see her that we're aware of. So obviously, we are intent on speaking with him again. Yes.
Have any restrictions been put on him about leaving where he's at or the country?
Not by us, no. Yes.
Can you give us any sort of insight into what his story of events were when you interviewed him?
No, I can't.
Is there anything beyond just the purse being with the vehicle that leads you to believe that she didn't just walk off on her own? That you can tell us.
Yeah, not that I can speak to right now. But like I said, obviously, you know, I've been married 32 years, and I'll tell you, my wife goes nowhere without her purse. So to think that she just left it there and just walked off is, you know, that's what concerns us.
Did you interview the child, or was there anything from the story about the drop-off from the child?
No, we did not interview the child. Now, like I said, Alabama Protective Services responded out, and I can't really comment on what they said. Yes?
What was his connection to Birmingham? Was he like in the process of leaving, or does he live there, or what?
No, I think he had a job site up there that he works at.
When you say her purse, is that like all of her, like she left her ID, all that stuff was still in the car, or just a purse?
There were things in the purse we won't comment on, but there's things in the purse that, like I said before, we don't think she would just up and leave.
She was last seen almost 4 days now. Can you speak to whether that's concerning to keep going yet another day with no sign of her?
Oh yeah, it's very concerning. I mean, you know, and we take everything seriously. Missing persons cases, a lot of them, you know, we find the person, everything's fine, but usually you don't go 4 days without hearing from them or them using a credit card or a cell phone or something, and right as of now we have none of that. So yeah, we're concerned.
So you can confirm that she's had no cell phone or credit card activity since Sunday?
That we're aware of.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why we have, you know, we didn't just assign a detective. Our entire major crimes unit is working this. So you've got 10 detectives that's pretty much all they're doing right now is trying to locate Cassie.
At any point, do you plan to identify a person of interest in her disappearance if this continues?
Well, yeah, definitely. If we develop a lead or we develop information that points to a person solid, yeah, we'll have another press conference without a doubt. Yes.
How many witnesses have you guys interviewed, approximately?
Ballpark.
There's really not a whole lot of eyewitnesses.
So I would say 5 or 6 right now, because when you start talking about witnesses, they meet by themselves together in this parking lot to do a child exchange. I mean,
Is it typical to get major crimes in on the first couple days of a missing person case?
It is when certain things pop up, like you find her purse in the car. I mean, that worries us. So yeah. Yes.
Have you all had any luck with surveillance video or anything in that area? I know it's out on the beach.
Yeah, we have. We've seen a bunch of video. The problem we have with some of it is, you know, it's getting dark and that kind of thing. So we're still examining video. So yes.
You said that you're concerned and worried. Can you speak to, are you specifically concerned that it's a possible kidnapping or any other crime? I mean, her life could be in danger.
Well, you know, when we look at this, we consider her missing, endangered. In other words, we don't know what happened to her. We don't have any evidence specifically pointing to a homicide or abduction or any of those. We just know that the way she has gone missing concerns us greatly.
And you said that, responding to another question, that the search has gone outside of Santa Rosa County. Can you say that it has gone outside of the state? Have you contacted other agencies?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you believe Cassie's alive?
I'm not really going to comment on what I believe. It doesn't really matter what I believe. I mean, evidence is what we go on, and right now we don't have enough evidence to determine if she's alive or if she's deceased. We don't have that kind of evidence right now.
Did you call the FBI to get involved, or did they volunteer? How did that?
They volunteered.
And where do you go from here?
You know, they'll be examining evidence for us, certain types of evidence that we don't have the capability of looking into. They'll take that. FDLE, same way. They have certain software programs and things we don't have that they do, and hopefully they can help us. Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever, were you ever able to determine if there was any problems with Cassie's car that you guys have?
We're not going to comment on that, but yeah, we do have the car in custody, so yes. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, and before we go, Crime Stoppers. Thank you, Rich. 850-437-STOP. If anybody out there has any information about Cassie and her whereabouts, you may not think it's a big deal to you, but if you give us some information to these detectives, it may be the thing that breaks the case. So if you have any information, call Crime Stoppers. You're totally anonymous, and you can get a reward. So thank you very much.
There from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, the press conference, you might remember it was difficult to get reception out of there yesterday. So I'm very grateful that we were able to play back the entirety of the press conference on this stream with you. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. I'll stay with you live for a little bit longer. Hopefully we can get some really good information. And if I stay live for another 5 minutes and we get another 500 shares, that's really what we're trying to do here as far as trying to spread those images of Cassie Carli, 37 years old, out of Florida, out of Navarre Beach in the Florida Panhandle. There she is. Beloved by family, beloved by her friends, and now a community search effort is also underway. And some of the video that you're about to see cycle back, they are also in tandem. They're trying to work in tandem with the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, but they are also working boots on the ground and sometimes boots in the water, looking everywhere that they can to find the 37-year-old missing mother out of Navarre Beach. Also know that Birmingham is now in play. Central Alabama is in play because that is where the father of Cassie Carli's daughter works as well. So a few more questions and comments that we can get to. Jennifer here. Her kid. This is an excellent question, and I've wondered this as well, so I'll throw this up on screen. Jennifer Cashman on Facebook, hashtag HJB. So if Cassie was picking up her kid from the kid's father, weren't people asking questions when he still had the child, but the child was supposed to be with the mother? I would hope that people were asking questions, but it very well might have happened, but we can't say. Listen, I am open to my email address, jbuno@wfla.com. I'm the most accessible reporter. You can find me you can shoot me an email, you can shoot me messages on Facebook, on Instagram, you can shoot me messages you can tweet at me. I'm here so if Marcus's family wants to speak and speak on Marcus's behalf, Marcus, if you're watching right now, you have every right to come on here with your name and your picture being put all over the news, not just this live stream, but news stations across the country now and digital publications across the country. You have every right to come forward and defend yourself. If you'd like to do so, you have an open invitation to join me here on WFLA Now, just like the family did, and you can speak your piece, but you're going to have to answer questions as to what happened that night when you were picking up, you were supposed to be dropping off the daughter of 4-year-old Cassie Carli, your ex. So that invitation is always open, and it's with all the stories that we cover. We know that there are multiple sides to every story, and we're not just going to listen to one side and not explore the others. If there's other sides to the story, we want to get the point of the work that we do is to get centered in on truth, find fact, find out what happened with a particular situation, a particular news story that we're covering. So again, anybody in Marcus's family that would like to come forward and speak, you have every right to do so. Again, I'm accessible. You know where to find me on social media. I can't say, Dragonfly Lady asking on YouTube, Hashtag KJB. What mode of transportation did the father/ex-husband use to travel to Alabama? There's been a lot of talk online, and the family has said to me that it was the primary method of travel for Marcus was this truck hauling a trailer, like a 30-foot or so trailer, is what I've been told by the family. I'm attributing that to the family, but I can't say whether or not that was the vehicle used to. I mean, are you hauling a trailer? If you were driving from the Panhandle 4 hours north to go to Birmingham, are you going to take the trailer with you for work? Are you living in that trailer? There's all these questions that we don't know the answer to, so I can't speak to his primary means of transportation from the Panhandle to Central Alabama. I can tell you that the family says that when he was on the Panhandle and he was going back and forth, whether it was Navarre or whether it was Destin or Pensacola Beach, wherever he was on the Panhandle, it was very common, not always, but common for him to be in that truck hauling the trailer behind him. Durga, hashtag AJB, do you know anything more about Cassie's family filing for an emergency custody hearing? An emergency hearing was denied. How long will they have to wait for a hearing now? I just know, and I will just say that they are exploring every legal avenue to get the 4-year-old daughter to the maternal side of the family. That's what I can say. I can only speak to what I know and what I've been told, and I just know that they are trying to do everything they can, that they're not going to, they say they're not going to take no for an answer. Any chance they have to get the 4-year-old daughter to their side of the family, to the Carli side of the family, they are going to explore it. But as we've been told repeatedly by the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, the 4-year-old daughter is said to be safe. Said to be safe. Somebody is in the comments saying that I might have misspoke, and I'm so sorry if I did. I might have misspoke, and my mouth moves very, very quickly, and my brain sometimes moves too fast for my mouth to comprehend. The exchange was on Sunday night. The father was after a weekend with her dad. The 4-year-old girl was with her dad. They were in the car together making this drive from Panama City Beach to Navarre Beach, where the scheduled exchange was supposed to happen. A little bit out of the ordinary for it to occur in Navarre, but for this Sunday night, it was relatively routine with the every other weekend schedule for him to meet up with her, with Cassie Carli, to do the exchange, the child exchange from one parent to the other, and it was him giving the 4-year-old daughter back to her. So hopefully that clears up anything if I misspoke, and apologies if I did. And if I'm misspeaking, that usually means I've been on stream for too long, and that means that I have to get going and wrap up. So the last call for any questions or comments that I can really quickly just kind of hammer through our system, use hashtag AJB. You can get my attention, and I can feature your comment on screen. I can address your comment out of the Twitter too. Let's just go to hashtag AJB on Twitter for a second. Hashtag AJB, latest. I just seeing people saying thank you, and of course it's what we're just trying to do to help. So I'm not seeing any questions there. Dana asking if there's any evidence of a struggle. There was no evidence of a struggle that was put forth. Any evidence even to suggest that there might have been a struggle. But I will say this. I'm glad that you bring this up, Dana, because I haven't really had a chance to talk about this. I've been working my phone around the clock. It's on the charger right now because it's just been phone call after phone call, text message after text message, doing work on this story. And the thing that I keep hearing is that it's been a contentious legal battle for custody of this 4-year-old girl. That mother and father did not see eye to eye, and that there was a battle that was taking place. How bad that battle got between the parents, I think that they and only immediate family members can say, but there was struggles when it came to sorting through those those parental rights issues, the rights to the 4-year-old girl. And all right, Facebook, I'm not seeing too much else, and I'm sorry. Facebook, we're live in a lot of places right now. If I'm missing your comment, reach out to me. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and I'll do my very best to address any misconceptions. I'm here to get good information out on the internet and do it in as transparent and honest and open of a way as possible. Going back to YouTube before we wrap up. Barb Olson, hashtag HeyJB. Do we know if Marcus is actively searching for Cassie? Great question. If this is the mother to your 4-year-old daughter and her safety is in question, and you have a sheriff's office saying that she is missing and endangered, would you be out there looking? Ask yourself if it was you, if it was in your shoes. If you had struggles, if there was a disconnect with your ex, but that ex was in trouble or missing, would you want to be part of the solution and participate in the search efforts? I can't say if Marcus is part of the search. I can say for certain he's not down there on the panhandle wading through water right now looking for Cassie. I can tell you that. What he is doing right now, I can't say. But I just think it's such a basic question that should have a basic answer. And you would hope that that person would join in the search efforts, but I have no information or indication from anybody or anything or any source that he has even expressed any interest in participating in search efforts. But again, Marcus, any members of Marcus's family, Marcus's inner circle, friends, you can reach out to me. I want to tell the story completely and get it right. So if that's happening, I'd like to know about it. Beth is saying absolutely hands down, I would. One tricky girl on YouTube saying, I can still rely on my ex-husband. I know he would do anything for me. I'm the mother of his children. Yeah, not every mother and father who separate but share a child together, not every one of them ends with this sort of contentious battle. Many do. But some exes get along because they put their child's best interests first, even though sometimes they might, it might be possible that they can't stand each other, but they'll still try to get along for the best interest of the child. But yeah, the question was, would you be out there? Would you be participating in the search for your ex if that ex was, missing and the subject of a regional search effort, urgent search effort underway? And that's really for everybody to ask themselves and answer individually. We'll take one more. Yeah, Dragonfly Lady, it did hashtag AJB. Did law enforcement say if they had Cassie's phone? We don't know where Cassie's phone is. And with other missing persons cases that we have covered, the phone is so key, is it not? Phone is everything. It's everything. It tells you everything about someone's life, their whereabouts, their communication with others. It's really the center point of an investigation when you're talking about a missing persons case. We do not know where the phone is this time. Want to let you know, everybody, that on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, will be continuing our our coverage of the search for Cassie Carli. I'm just going to get this right. Yeah, I'm just reading through some of the final comments. We will, if there's updates on this story, we're back live. including later today. If something happens, something transpires, we're back here with you live. So wherever you're watching from right now, I want to let you know that that we can go live at the drop of a hat. We can go live when we have something new to report. So if you're joining us on Facebook, you can, I'm just giving, if you're joining us on WFLA.com app, website, that's the home base for all of our reporting. WFLA.com, the WFLA app. Facebook, you can always sign up for notifications when we go live. YouTube, you can subscribe to YouTube, and you get all the notifications for when we go live, and so on and so forth. There's all the different ways that you can follow us. And I want to let you know, from me, we're going to stay on this story, and I'll stay in touch with the family, friends, and I'm open to speaking with the other family, friends of the ex of Marcus here. So I'm here to, of course, be as thorough and as open and as available and honest of a reporter as I can possibly be, and that's, of course, my commitment to all of you. And we'll continue to report on the story as developments come in. If you're really looking for more and you want to be part of the search efforts that are underway, go find that group on Facebook. They're really rallying a large, sizable amount of people together to participate. Even if you can't get out there to the beach, they're just rallying people to help spread the word, to be on the lookout for Cassie Carli. Sending our best one more time to the family. Really grateful that they joined us. And for the latest, you can join us on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, where you have the latest on the search, the urgent search across multiple states with multiple agencies participating, the search for missing Florida mother, Cassie Carli. I'm JB Buno. See you next time, folks, on WFLA Now.